Hello, my dear students and the rest of the learners. Welcome to part 14 of an 18-part series of tutorials in applying spreadsheet using Microsoft Excel. In this tutorial, I'm going to continue focusing on data management with focus of this tutorial being on auditing. My name is MJ, or you can simply call me Emily Swap. What is auditing? And what do we refer to as auditing workbooks? Auditing is tracing the relationship between formulas and the cells in order to help track down problems on your worksheet. The auditing commands graphically display trace the relationships between cells and the formulas with a trace arrows. That is, these arrows that show the relationships between the active cell and its related cells. When you audit a worksheet, you can trace the precedence, that is, the cells that provide data to a specific cell, or you can trace the dependence, that is, the cells that depend on the value in a specific cell. The blue tracer arrows indicate the dependence or precedence. To trace precedence or dependence, number one, you select the cell that contains the formula for which you want to find precedent cells. Number two, you click on the Formulas menu. And number three, in order for you to display a tracer arrow to each cell that directly provides data to the active cell, you click on Trace Precedence on the Formula Auditing toolbar. Number four, to identify the next level of cells that provide data to the active cell, you click on Trace Precedence. Number five, to trace the dependence, you click on Trace Dependence option. Number six, to circle the incorrect or invalid values in a worksheet and auditing toolbar, you click on Circle Invalid Data. To trace errors, you click on Trace Errors icon on the auditing toolbar. To remove the precedence and dependence arrows, you click on Remove Arrows under Formulas. So the following is a sample demonstration on how to audit values in a workbook called Emily Swap College Term 2 results. So, like in this workbook that is called Emily Swap College Term 2 results, we can audit the results that we have. For example, we can audit the totals. We can audit the average. We can audit the basis course, least scores, etc. So how do we go about it? Let's audit this total here. So you click on the cell that contains the formula or function that you want to audit, or whose value you want to audit. For example, we can click on 219. Then we click on formulas. And then we click on trace precedence. And tracing precedence shows arrows that indicate which cells affect the value of the currently selected cell. So click on trace precedence. Now you can see from this arrow that is indicated that to get 219, it is what is in cell, the first cell, that is 48, what is in the second cell, that is 74, what is in the third cell, that is 34, and what is in the fourth cell, which is 63. So it is 48, 74, 34, and 63. So that is able to tell us that the cells that have been used in computing total are correct. Let's audit another formula. Let's audit another value or another formula so that we are able to see what auditing is all about. I want us to audit. I want us to audit this figure here. I want us to audit. Good. So how do we do it? So to be able to generate good, this is what happened. This is what happened. So what we are going to do is we are going to click on the cell that contains the value, whose precedence and of course independence we can confirm. So we click on good. And then we click on formulas, then trace dependence. So click on trace dependence. What are you being taught? The trace dependence command found no formulas that refer to the active cell. So no formula that refer to this active cell. Let's click on another one. Good. Then we click on the formulas, we click on trace dependence. You can also see the trace dependence command for no formula that refers to the active cell. What about if we click on dependent? So good is independent or is what gives, what drives the command good. So we click on trace precedence. You can see it is tracing precedence that shows the source of good. It tells us that this score in cell J, in cell J14, in cell J14 is what is generating the comment good. Assuming that we want to find out the precedence for 10, this value here. So let's trace precedence. We click on data or on formulas, then we click on precedence. Look, how do you arrive at student being ranked as number 10? It is simply checking, the value 217 and comparing it with the value spanning from 219 to 262. So this rank is in comparison or is arrived at after comparing what is in cell, in fact is what is in cell I4 with what is in cell I7. That's what we can see. And that gave 10. And of course, that's the rank. How do we then trace dependence? Assuming I insert a formula here for computing the totals, so that then I click or I write that I want to use a function goes to sum, then whatever is in cell I4 to cell I14, then I press enter. So Let me trace the precedence for this. What do we do? Let me click on formulas and then click on trace dependence. You can see the trace dependence command found no formulas that in fact the active cell. What about if I introduce this figure, I pick this round figure and I make it or include it here where I have equals to sum, then times multiplied by dollar what? I want to use 64. That is $K, 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 $12. What will happen? $K, $12. Let's enter. We found a typo in your formula, so there's an error in my formula. Yeah. So it is sum I4 I11, then multiplied by, so I move this bracket, multiplied by $K, $12. I press enter. Let's trace the precedence here. So I picked this cell here. If I click on that cell, then I click on trace dependence, you can see that this total here is depending on this value here. So what about if I want to trace precedence for 178.15? Trace precedence. You can see that to get this total, one, you have to add all the values up to there. But then you also multiply with the value here. So the total which you would have gotten here is being further computed by multiplying what you have gotten times what is here. That's why I made this cell absolute in the formula here. So that then, even if I copy this formula from here and I paste it somewhere else, for example, if I click on the copy and I paste it, for example, here, I say paste. It has also given us a certain value. What is it? If I click on this cell, if I click on this cell here, if I click on this cell, you can see I would have gotten some figures too. So if that is the cell, you can see the formula which is there. J6 and J16, or the range from J16 is there changed, but the value that is being returned to as the multiplier is the same. So if I want to trace the dependence of this one, I'll click on trace dependence. So I'll select the cell and I click on trace dependence. What are we getting? Are we getting something? What about if I click on trace precedence? You can see trace precedence, what it is giving me. What about if I click on 64 and I click on trace dependence? You can see that 64 is being used to compute this value and also compute this value at the same time. If there were any errors within our worksheet, we would still be able to display it as already explained in this presentation. Once you are through with doing your auditing, you can remove the auditing trails or the auditing arrows or lines by clicking on remove arrows under formula auditing. So let's click on remove arrows. And that's how you audit your worksheet. That's how you're able to trace the cells that are contributing to the results in a certain cell based on a certain formula. And with that, my dear students and the rest of the learners, we have come to the end of part 14 in the series. You can now continue to part 15 of the 18-part series, in which I am going to discuss and demonstrate on how to execute goal seeking in a worksheet. Congratulations, therefore, for learning part 14 of 18 on auditing values in a worksheet. You can access other parts in Applying Spreadsheet series, as well as other computer or ICT videos by clicking or tapping on MLSwap ICT YouTube channel below this video. To subscribe to the channel, tap on subscribe button below this video in YouTube if it's not currently reading as subscribed. For any further correspondence, kindly write it to us through the email emilyswap@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening to me. Let's meet in part 15 of this series, and God bless.